morning, good morning. Welcome back to Children's Church. I'm so glad to have you here with me. And all this month, August, is for acts. Today is an awesome act of God. We're in Joshua 10, the day the sun stood still. I'm going to read it to you. It's a relatively short story, at least for what I've been doing lately. Beware of my pronunciation. It's not always perfect, but I am doing my best. Now, Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, heard that Joshua had captured Ai and completely destroyed it, treating Ai and its king as he had Jericho and its king. And the inhabitants of Gibeon had made peace with Israel and were living among them. So Adonizedek and his people were I added too many syllables. It's Adoni. My apologies. And his people were greatly alarmed because Gibeon was a large city like one of the royal cities and was larger than Ai. And all its men were warriors. Therefore Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, sent word to Hoham, king of Hebron, Piram, king of Jarmuth, Japhia, king of Lashish, and Debir, king of Eglon, saying, "Come up and help me. We will attack Gibeon, because they have made peace with Joshua and the Israelites." So the 5 Amorite kings, the kings of Jerusalem, Hebron, Jarmuth, Lashish, and Eglon, joined forces, advanced with their armies, besieged Gibeon, and fought against it. Then the men of Gibeon sent word to Joshua in the camp at Gilgal, "Don't abandon your servants. Come quickly and save us. Help us, for all the Amorite kings living in the hill country have joined forces against us." So Joshua and his whole military force, including all the fighting men, came from Gilgal. And the Lord said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid of them, for I have handed them over to you. Not one of them will be able to stand against you." So Joshua caught them by surprise. After marching all night from Gilgal, the Lord threw them into confusion before Israel. He defeated them at Gibeon, chased them through the ascent of Beth Horon, and struck them down as far as Ezekah and Medekah. Maybe. As they fled before Israel, the Lord threw large hailstones on them from the sky, along the descent of Beth Horon, all the way to Azekah, as they died. More of them died from hail than the Israelites killed with the sword. On this day the Lord gave the Amorites over to Israelites. Joshua spoke to the Lord in the presence of Israel, "Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and moon over the valley of Adullam." And the sun stood still, and the moon stopped, until the nation took vengeance on its enemies. Isn't this written in the book of Jashar? So the sun stopped in the middle of the sky and delayed its setting almost a full day. There has been no day like it before or since, when the Lord listened to the voice of the man, because the Lord fought for Israel. Then Joshua and all of Israel with him returned to the camp at Gilgal. So, they're fighting, and people they had made a treaty with were being attacked. Now, Joshua shouldn't have made that treaty, but that's a whole different story. He didn't talk to God first. This time he did. He talked to God first. He prayed, and he kept his word, and he went to save the Gibeonites from the 5 armies. I'm not listing all the names again. I did my best, but they're not really important. The 5 Amorite kings brought all their people against the people of Gibeon. And Joshua asked God to hold the sun still. And when they say it's written in the book of Jashar, that means the history book of the nation of Jashar, who was one of the 5 Amorite kings who came against the Israelites and the Gibeonites. So it's not just recorded in the Bible, it's recorded in another historical text. It's cross-referencing here. I don't know if we still have the book of Jashar. Does my Bible say anything about that? No, I'll look it up later. I just think that's very cool imagery. Imagine if the sun stayed in the same place all day. Imagine it's high noon and the sun just stayed for a whole 24 hours in the same place over Gibeon, so that there was light to fight by, and they could chase off the enemies who were destroying their allies. And that is an awesome act of God. Now, is that the greatest thing God could do? I don't know. He made the sun and moon. Of course he can make them stand still. But I thought it fell really nicely under our awesome acts for August. That is an awesome act of God, to halt the rotation of the sun and the moon and the earth. Well, really, he probably stopped the earth from rotating. I'm thinking about this a little too hard, but so that the sun stood over Gibeon. And there are different historical accounts of this. There are other peoples who have talked about the day the sun stood still. So that is our awesome act for the week. And I will be back here next week with another act for August from the Bible. I think we're going to jump to the New Testament next week. I'll see you then.